Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. And in today's video, we're going to show you the proper way to break down a bumper pull camper. Ours happens to be a Cherokee Grey Wolf 29-foot bunkhouse.
So we're heading out of a campsite today. I thought I'd show you how you break this thing down, and it's important that you do certain steps just to make sure that everything's in good shape as you go through the process. I'll show you. It's a nice brisk morning and a cup of warm coffee. Sure is nice. Now before we connect the truck and the camper, let me show you how we go ahead and break this down. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with the water and the sewer gray line hookups. That's the place to start. We'll take you on this side of the camper and show you what that looks like. As you can see on this setup, we have our water line where the blue hose is over here. We have our gray water and sewer drain right here. You can see our drain pipe is already down into the actual sewer drain. It's nice they have it right here at the site. So let me show you what we do on this. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this. So we want to start, we always start with the sewer line first. We're going to go ahead and open this guy up right here. There's nothing pretty about this part of camping. Everybody poops and it goes somewhere. You can see it going right through the clear part of the tube here. And this is nice because you can check your flow, make sure you know what you have going on. You always want to go ahead and do the black tank, sewer essentially, first. And the reason we do that is because we'll use the gray water to clean out this hose. So we'll just let that continue to drain for a few minutes until we go down to a trickle. And you can see it's not actually very dirty. We haven't used the camper in a year and a half, and frankly I ran a lot of water down into the toilet just to allow it to clear out. So while that finishes draining, I'm just going to go ahead and turn off our fresh water here and disconnect this. The water off, it's just a matter of taking that off of there. I need to put a rubber washer in that. It's leaking a little bit. Get this cleared up. Okay, with our black water already done, we'll close that valve and we'll open up our gray water. And while that's going, good time to start coiling up our hose. I am a big fan of coiling up the hose from one end to the other and allowing all the water that's in it to work its way out. It's funny, it's cold, and this hose has been coiled up in the camper for a long time, so it is pretty much retaining its unwieldy shape, sadly. Always take it and connect it to the other end. Keeps anything from getting inside of here, any bugs, nests, anything else, while you have it in storage in the camper. Not the prettiest setup, but there we go. You know, there's that old saying, everything has a home.
Over here.
Well,
yeah,
I'm
right
a firm
here.
believer in that.
Hey, do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Thanks.
I got one coil that's a little long here. Like that. It slides right back in there. That still leaves room for our power cord and always keep you level. Great when setting up. So we've got all the water drained, and now if you were leaving and going to put this thing in storage for a while, you'd probably want to take your garden hose, another one. I don't ever use my water hose for cleaning this, but run around to the other side. There's actually a drain plug. It fills the black water tank and it lets you drain this out. Again, we're just going up the road. We'll be stopping again tonight. So I'm going to turn off my gray water output, and we're going to disconnect this hose. We'll cap it, and I just lift this up, make sure every last bit of this drains off and down into the actual sewer line here. Now, I used my gray water before, which was a smart move, so now all I have to do, leave that right in it, run a little bit of water in here. Again, I don't touch the nozzle because this is drinking water, but do a little of that. Nice and clean. Now, I like to do one more step here. First, let me close up the sewer line. We don't want to get any dirt or anything down in there. I like to rinse the sand off of the bottom of this. Doesn't take much, but sure makes it easier when you get to the next place. Now, a lot of people will use rubber gloves and whatnot for this. I usually don't. I try and keep it really clean. When I get done, I'll go wash my hands. And just like before, it's time to get all this stored away. I keep mine right in these little drawers. I love this setup. It catches any drips that might happen. Allows me to put that right in there. And then I just coil this up nice and tight. I compress all this accordion hose and turn the end right down. Easy as that. I like to leave my power to the very end. Frankly, anything I can do off of the house bank of batteries, I figure the better. I'm already paying for electricity. If it takes me 5 or 10 more minutes and I'm using theirs, so be it. So I'm gonna leave this plugged in. Once we're hooked up to the truck, I'll disconnect this. Now I like to come all the way around the camper and do a nice once around. It's a good way to make sure that you have all the things that you need to pick up, picked up. So before I call the family to hop in the truck, I'm just gonna go ahead and get the stabilizer bars on the 3-point hitch hooked up. I'll show you what that looks like. So you can probably get a sense for the fact that the trailer's gonna have to come up on the tongue in order to go onto the truck. That's okay, we'll do that in just a little bit. I like to prepare a few things and get the truck pulled up very close to the hitch, primarily so that once we disconnect the power, I can be plugged into the camper. With that, let's go ahead and get started. A few things we want to do. The first thing we do, stabilizer bar pins out, and that is this pin right here. We'll pull the pin, remove the actual L-shaped piece, and that will allow us to put our 3-point hitch in place. Let's go ahead and do just that. Pull out the little tab right here, slide our hitch bar in, and it goes all the way up. We can let go. That should hold it in place, and it is. I'm just going to swing this out wide for a minute. Do the same thing on this one. Pull out my little latch, slide it right up into the hole all the way until it stops. You can see this thing moves around a little bit, but that's all normal. I always check it, make sure all the bolts are tight, nothing's loose. We did have a scenario a few years ago where I stopped and this ball was unbelievably loose. It was very scary to me. I also usually take this off and I make sure that there's no scarring on the actual pin. There's a lot of pressure on this as you accelerate and brake. The last thing you want to do is shear that pin. That is essentially holding us to the camper. Even with the camera, sometimes it's hard to tell, but that looks pretty good. Yep, we can get this guy plugged in, which is good. Get him plugged in. All right. And now, let's go ahead and get everybody out of here. We'll pull in the side, and then we'll go ahead and get this guy hooked up and ready to go. Because we're getting ready to get on the road, we're going to go ahead and turn off the heater, and we just do that with this little toggle right here. That turns the gas off to the heater system. So right now, the heater and the pump are off. That's what we want. All right, so in this particular camper, we're going to turn off all of these switches. This is the outside. This is indoor lights right here, and these are also indoor lights. We're going to turn these off. Like you'll notice the blue lights over here on the left will go off. We have a couple of other things. We have the awning, extend, put out, retract in, and the slide, put it in or put it out. So to put it in, we're just going to hit this, and we hear it moving. Ours is nice. The motor automatically stops. You'll hear it slow down and then stop, and it does that on its own. All right. The extension is now in, and it's time to go ahead and disconnect our power. Now that we have almost everything done, it's just a matter of rolling in these jacks, and we do this because we're going to lift up the tongue of the trailer to get the actual hitch underneath it. Got that one in. Now time to go to the one in the back. Now one thing to note, before you actually undo this, you always want to turn your breaker off, which I have now done, and then disconnect our power. We actually take the power and turn it off so that we avoid any shorts in any of the systems. Because I have some sand here, I'm going to take this into the grass so I don't get sand on this. This is a lot like a boat 30 amp. Just half twist, pull it out. And just like the hose, everything has a home in here, just the way we like it. Lets us know where everything is all the time. It slides right down there. Close this up and latch it. Let's go to the 3-point hitch. All right, so we're going to start raising up the camper. We want to make sure the hitch is over the top of the ball for sure. Now, a 3-point hookup means there's 2 steps to this. The first thing we want to do is get the ball on. We're then going to lower it down to make sure it's latched, and then we're gonna raise it up again. We have to raise it up in order to get the equalizing off of this hitch, so we can get these on top of those pegs. Really important. That is more than enough. Let's go ahead and back this guy up. With that, we start lowering down until we get this ball on here. And as soon as it's latched, pop it back up to get these stabilizers on. There we go. And now it's up. All we want to do is go up high enough so that that goes right on there and start lowering it. Put that on there. Now we're just going to start letting some of this weight get picked up by the actual truck. All right, we've come off of there. Remove this and take our pin out. Raise this guy up. Again, everything has a home. These little guys go right here, and it's time to pull our wheel chocks out. Deb already grabbed the one from the other side, so with that, we just finished hooking up the trailer hitch, and we're ready to go. All right, put these guys in. Time to go ahead and hook up our safety chains. Safety chains go underneath the 3-point. That's important. Let's connect right up here. The last thing is our safety hitch wire. And the way I like to do this is wrap it behind this hook, around that pin, around the pin on this side, and then I come up and tighten it up a little bit like a lasso. Now, if for some reason the trailer would break loose, this would pull that wire, activate the brakes on the trailer automatically. One last thing, let's go make sure all the lights are working. All right, we always do a quick check on the lights. Got the left blinker, right blinker's working. That looks good.
And with that, it is time to hop in the vehicle, slowly pull out of our campsite, and make our way to our next stop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's pretty basic, but it gives you all the steps you need when you're setting up and breaking down your camper. We'll put links in the description of some of the common items that we have found work really, really well for camping and setting up. Bye, everybody. Safe and happy camping.